Ladies and gentlemen, it's that time. This is the good news, the bad news, and the other shit. Good news, bad news, and other shit. And you know, we got to talk about Trump, but I don't want to make that all the news. So I thought it was some other stuff to talk about first. You know, it was significant. Now, I don't know, you know, some things, Vic, you know, we deal with change, right? We deal with change.
Change is going to come?
Change is going to always come, right? But some changes are painful, Vic.
Right.
I don't know about you. Have you heard about this, Vic? But Disneyland has raised its prices.
Yes, I saw that, bro.
And now they're going to have some prices are going to actually be over $200.
Yeah.
Can you believe that?
Yeah.
Over $200 for some of them. Now, the basic pass, look at this, $154. Oh, 104 to 154.
The
Can you believe this?
They're scaled. You know what? It's like an app. You get the basic, and then you got to get the features.
Can you guys, okay, I don't know about you, but doesn't that seem a little exorbitant considering all the other money they do? You can't bring food in. We know when I was a kid, we went to Disneyland. My mother made a picnic, and we went out to the car for lunch and had picnic at the car.
Right, right.
You know, we folded out in the back of the car, and everybody had, it was wonderful, fun time, picnic at the car. So did a bunch of people. Put out little tables and some folding chairs and picnic at the car. But now with Disneyland, I don't know what they're going to do. But I want to know what you guys think about that, because it just seems a little excessive.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know.
Yeah.
I just want to, you know, this is good news, bad news, and other shit. And that's bad news.
How long has it been since you've been to the Wonderland Park?
It's been a long time. It's been a long time, Vic.
That's
It's been a long time. I can't afford it. I can't afford it, Vic. I can't.
I'm saying, man.
I can't afford it to go to the park. I want to go to Disney. I want to go to Disneyland, but I can't afford it. I can't afford it.
You probably.
I got a woman. You know.
Right.
Know. Even though they all cost me, but I'm just saying. I got a woman.
So the last time
costing me. I don't know. She's supposed to be bringing in money.
So the last
but
time
it's
you
costing
went,
me. It's costing me. That's all I'm saying.
the last time you went, they still had the monorail running, right?
Yeah, they don't have the monorail anymore. Don't be shocking me. See, it's already it's bad enough. See, Disneyland goes up. Are you trying to tell me there's no monorail?
I don't know if they call it that. What about the People Mover? You still looking forward to that?
People mover. That's kind of big fun. I haven't been. Some of you haven't been to Disneyland in a while. May need to get up and go, because I think Knott's Berry Farm's closing. So let's be childhood. There it goes down the drain.
They had their time, man.
All right. Other news. You know, there's been a big push lately to recognize that locks, and they're not dreadlocks. I hate when they say dreadlocks. People have locks. They're not dreadlocks, okay? That's a whole different cultural situation. So these are locks. So now locks are this, I didn't even know was not legal, but I guess in a lot of jobs they will come down on you. Now, being at Kaiser, they didn't say shit. I grew locks. I was waiting for some of my colleagues to say something, you know. I'm just waiting. I grew locks. I was just waiting. Say something. Just say. Nobody said anything. It's like Halloween. You get all the candy and no kids come. You just be right there at the door waiting. So I'm just saying. So now there's been some legislation, and it's different in different states. But now it's at least being recognized that folks with locks should be acceptable in the workplace. I say, well, shit, yeah. Okay, all right. Good news, bad news, and other shit. We getting the Trump. Get in the Trump. Take your time. Now, Vic, I did some investigation, and I know this has probably been a burning topic to you. And I found out what was the reason for the chicken sandwich shortages.
Wait a minute. I thought that was done.
No, let's do this. See, but there was a reason.
Okay, man.
See, when they have scandals, see, what happened was Popeye's chicken sandwich, there was a shortage, and it lasted for months. It's terrible. People were getting in fights. all kind of domestic violence related to the chicken sandwich. And we were trying to understand the basis of this phenomena that went behind the chicken sandwich. Now, I, for one, was wondering, with all the chicken we eat here in the U.S., how could there be a chicken sandwich shortage? Did you catch? So there was a chicken sandwich shortage. I'm trying to think. I had to dig deep. So I dressed up in some appropriate attire and went throughout the neighborhood searching for answers.
Okay.
And they didn't really like the attire, so I went back and put some other clothes and went back out. Did it again.
Okay.
And then I went over to North Hollywood and with a certain attire, and I got a bunch of new friends, but they were a little too close. So then I came back. So all of this was to investigate chicken. And Vic, I found out the problem was that there wasn't enough white meat to go around. That's what I was just saying. See, wait. Don't even go there. I'm just saying, what happened was, Vic, they were making the chicken sandwich out of white meat. And the problem was they needed little breasts. This is the truth. The chicken sandwiches were made from white meat, and they needed little breasts. And then what happened was, out there in the chicken world, we may not have realized it, but in the chicken world, there's been a shortage of little breasts, and it's mostly big breasts in the chicken world. So there were not the right size chicken breasts to fit the chicken sandwich. This is the truth. I'm reading it right here, right up. I'm telling you. So believe it or not, now of course, people like you and I, would probably say, why don't you get the big chicken breasts and cut them in half? But they can't do that for some reason. So for McDonald's and all other people trying to do chicken sandwiches, they've been scrambling trying to get small chicken breasts of a special texture. Okay, and part of the problem is that all the chicken breasts have been getting big, and they call them, when they get big, they get a coarse texture that's come to be known as woody breasts. It's called woody breasts. So I just want you to know this is the problem.
Okay.
So now I want you all to know that for those of you who were on Facebook, who saw, I didn't have all my visual aids ready today. But those of you who are on Facebook, you saw I posted my version of the chicken sandwich, which I made with a chicken thigh. Big ass chicken thigh. I didn't pound it, nothing. Just deep fried it, seasoned butter. I soaked it in buttermilk for a day and a half, then seasoned them up, fried them, and made a big old beautiful chicken sandwich. You can go find the pictures on Facebook. And we did it from a chicken thigh. And for some reason, America's retailers haven't quite got the idea of making chicken sandwiches from the chicken thigh. So I want you to know. So now they're working on it. They're trying right now. There's a feverish attempt out there, Vic, to grow a lot more small-breasted chickens. So it's going down right now.
And this is because...
Candice, are you paying attention?
And this is because of certain retail chains having problems with getting a chicken sandwich on the inventory list to distribute.
That's right. This is what's happening because this is why you have a chicken sandwich shortage. Now go and impress your friends. Give it up. Just give it up. Can't get that knowledge everywhere else. You can't get that knowledge. All right. In the Trump update, first before we even go to the Trump update, well, let's deal with the Trump update first. The Trump update is that it's ongoing shit. The president is he's retaliating in open. See, here's where it gets amazing. I did some research while we were off and did some postings about so-called swing voters. First of all, the myth. There's no such thing as a swing voter. Okay, by that I mean, when you look at the studies, no more then usually 8% of individuals shift. So there are no swings, okay? There is no swing. It doesn't swing unless you call a 6% swing, which is more like what it's usually like, okay? So there's very few swing voters. People have made their mind up on one level. It's Trump, if you like Trump, and it's anybody else. Even as a radical leftist independent, I have already said that I am going to support whoever the Democratic candidate is. And that is true of most people. And I reminded people, when you go into the booth and look at the voting, you get your ballot, there's going to be Trump, the Democratic candidate, an ND, maybe a Green Party, and then there's write-ins. That's it. There's no big constellation of people. So it's going to be the Democratic candidate versus Trump. And most people are going to support Trump. If you like Trump, you're going to support him. And if you're against Trump, you're going to pick whoever else. Okay? Now, what happened before with Hillary Clinton is that 48 to 49% of the people stayed home. That's why you hear so much about turnout. Because when you get a big turnout, it tends to favor the Democrats. Okay, like with Obama. I am predicting you're going to get a huge turnout because black people are going to be there. Okay, I know that. They're going to be there. Okay, they're going to have a Trump voting party night. Okay, everybody's going to be there. Trump. So it's going to be a turnout. All right, it's going to be a big old turnout for the vote. And that's what you need. So the big thing, when they talk about people being undecided, it's kind of bullshit. What they're undecided about, okay, let me put it like this. All the Trump people are decided, okay? Now, the people that they're calling undecided are people who can't decide which Democratic candidate they support, which only makes a difference in the primaries, right? In other words, who you support as a Democratic candidate only lasts up until the convention. After that, there's only one Democratic candidate, no matter who you support. Okay, that's it. So it's only a contest now, and that's what's going on. So then when you get after, and I believe the Democratic convention is in July. Alexa, when is the Democratic convention?
The Democratic National Convention is a series of presidential nominating conventions held every 4 years since 1832 by the United States Democrats.
Alexa, when is the Democratic convention?
The next Democratic National Convention will occur on Monday, July 13th, 2020.
Jeez, thank you. Okay, so July. So after July, it's one candidate, which everybody's going to jump behind. So the mystery is between now and July, sort of. We may know before July who the Democratic candidate is, or at least who they're pulling for. Last year, they fixed everything. Not last year. Last time, they fixed everything. They swung it and fixed and collaborated to sabotage Bernie Sanders. He didn't complain, whatever. So you're going to see what happens this year. Right now, Sanders is the front runner, much to their chagrin, because the Democrats, the leadership, remember, the leadership is much like the Republican Party in that the leadership is not quite in step with the people. So the people in the Democratic Party, they want to be more radical. They're more leftist. They're more of color. Okay, so they're worried that candidate will scare all the other white folks and Trump will win. Let's call it like it is. Okay? So the question is who's too liberal? You got a gay man running. That's a little leftist and liberal for most folks. Bernie is I don't think that he calls himself a socialist. He has policies that are socialist policies, even though terminology, there's socialism for white folks too. There's welfare for rich folks. That was what Too Big to Fail was. That was welfare for the rich. See, because they bail out the rich. They bail them out all the time. They're too big to fail, and you all are too little to count. They're too big to fail, and you're too little to count. So that's what's happening. So everybody, the president's people know who they're voting for, the president. There's one Democrat who's running against Trump, one lonely male figure, can't get a dance. So forget him. And so for the Democrats, we get to move on. Now, the current state for Trump is that he's just acting a damn fool, and he's trying to prove how much he can get away with. Right now, he's being so flagrant with his attacks on people who worked against him that it's so flagrant that even his supporters don't know what to say. They don't know what to say. They're just trying to be hush. He's kicking ass. He's kicking people's ass. Shh. Either that, they can't talk, and maybe the scrotum up against their chin. But they can't say anything, let's just say. So they're not saying anything. So let's leave Trump. He's going to act a damn fool. Now, for a moment, let's go over to the Democrats, because the big issue is who's going to be the Democratic candidate. Bernie Sanders, Joe Biden, okay. Now, again, just to summarize, I don't want to hurt people's feelings, but let's say who Joe Biden was. I'm a 63-year-old black man, so I can tell you, I was there. Joe Biden was a not liberal white Democrat who, when all white folks was being openly disrespectful to black people and just totally kicking ass, he was gracious. He was like, let's not do that to the Negroes. Let's not. But on everything that counted on the money, he voted with all the other white folks. So that's who he was. When it came to the money, he voted with all the other folks of his time. Things like busing, he voted with all the other white folks of his time. But when it came to civil rights, he was like, let's be kind to the Negroes. So because of that, he has a favorable rating with old black folks, because this is when all America was Trump. Okay, so when all of America was Trump, Joe Biden was Joe Biden. just like he is now, pretty much. Just pretty much the same old Joe. And so that's why he has that following, but it doesn't work with today's millennials and everybody else. They want a little more something, Joe. So Joe's not the person. So now it leaves Bernie, who looks like he's got one foot in the grave. I'm sorry. They look like they're so close to death. I'm just saying. And I like Bernie's policies. But my favorite is Elizabeth Warren, who's also up there, but she look like she's Bernie. We don't know if Bernie will make it the way he's looking. I'm rooting for Bernie's health, but I'm like, whew, Bernie. Lord, dude, the work is wearing you out. All this. So we rooting for Bernie, and there's a bunch of Bernie supporters. My personal choice is Warren, but you got Buttigieg. Now, I just watched the last debate. Did you guys watch it? See, but you didn't. And I didn't because at the time I had enough. I had enough. So one of my buddies came to me and said, did you watch this debate? And I was like, no, because I felt bad. I had enough. He said, well, you got to watch it. So I went and watched the debate like 2 days ago. Jeez. For those of you who hasn't watched that debate, that's not the Iowa debate, okay? Whatever. You got to go see this debate, okay? First of all, they ripped Mayor Bloomberg. They ripped him a new one. Everybody, they took turns taking old Mike out for the. They wreaked havoc on his ass. Bloomberg, they just wreaked havoc on his ass.
You think he deserved it? Yes or no?
I think everyone deserves to have their policies reminded to them. So, I mean, that's speaking of that.
Right.
I mean, they all do. Okay, so Bloomberg got handed his ass. Okay, this is my assessment. Biden was nowhere to... He's just good old Joe, you know. Okay, it's good old Joe. Okay, so that's him. Okay. Amy Klobuchar got her ass handed to her, okay? Got her ass handed to her. You can tell by her face. Man, I see. We've seen that face before. So Amy Klobuchar got her ass handed to her on her past policies, and when she was DA. So she got her past policies handed to her for that, and she got wore out. Buttigieg came out swinging. Elizabeth Warren came out kicking ass and taking names. just pit bull, and very effective. Very effective. Wonderful job for her. I thought Sanders did what he should. He's already in front. He could coast and stay out of the, He did a good job, though, of making his points. They all jumped at their terms on Bloomberg. They all took their turns doing various acts on him. But Sanders was good, but it really solidified to me, in a sense, where you're headed. Okay? Where you're headed. And you're headed to a Sanders-Warren showdown. Biden's going to end up, oh, Lord, he ain't going to make it. He ain't going to make it. Now, the question is, does Buttigieg get to be somebody's VP, or they have to go look for who they can get along with? Because Kamala Harris wants still out there. You got Stacey Abrams, right, from Georgia. She'll just be anybody's VP. And she's very solid, Stacey Abrams. So, Cory Booker. So all the energy right now is on the Democrats and what's happening with them. So don't sweat it out, even though you hear a lot of bad press and the Russians are at work. They're at work now. Just remember that once we get to July 13th, as Alexa said, we're going to be deciding the Democratic candidate. And at that point in time, it's going to be Trump versus the Democratic candidate. And then, it's going to be whoever that is. See, so all the indecisive stuff you hear, 30% are undecided. They're undecided about which Democrat to support. And all that'll be done in July. Right? Okay. All right. Vic, you got anything about that?
No, man. I'm already, like I said, I go look at the history file of what they've done. All this the debates and all that don't mean nothing. Backslapping each other. I just go look at the history and say, oppressed, depressed communities, what did you guys do? If I didn't see anything in the history file, I'm going, well, what can I say? And Joe, you're right. Sometimes, I hate to say it, nothing personal, but sometimes it looks like you woke up and you're still sleepy. That's all I can say. Yeah.
Man, I know I'm aging too, shit, but dang.
So look how you sleep.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's the good news. The bad news. And the other shit.